Over here are the parents from South Row Elementary School. And over here are the parents from McCarthy Middle School. I'm Dr. Matthew Beyranevand, and this is Eye on Parcc.
I'm Anne-Marie Fiore, Director of Technology and Information for the Chelmsford Public Schools.
And I'm Dr. Linda Hirsch, the Coordinator of English Language Arts. Welcome to Eye on Parcc.
Eye on Parcc is our new show where we will be looking at the new standardized assessments called Parcc.
Parcc stands for the Partnership for Assessment of Readiness for College and Careers. Parcc is a consortium of 18 states, plus the District of Columbia and the U.S. Virgin Islands, working together to develop a common set of K-12 assessments in English and math, anchored in what it takes to be ready for college and careers.
These new K-12 assessments will build a pathway to college and career readiness by the end of high school, mark students' progress towards this goal from 3rd grade up, and provide teachers with timely information to inform instruction and provide student support. The Parcc assessments will be ready during the 2014-2015 school year.
During this episode, we'll be testing your knowledge of Parcc, and we have 2 teams of parents in the studio from the South Row and McCarthy schools. Matthew, take it away.
All right, come on up, Kathy from McCarthy, Georgia from South Row. All right, the top 4 answers are on the board. We surveyed 100 parents. What is the first thing you think of when you hear about the Parcc assessment? Kathy.
Like MCAS exam.
All right, like MCAS exam. Survey says yes, the number 1 answer. Kathy, do you and McCarthy want to play or pass?
We'll play.
Okay, they want to play. But first, let's hear from Anne-Marie and Linda to learn about how the Parcc is like the MCAS exam.
Wow, the number 1 answer.
That's great.
That's excellent. Well, the new assessment being developed is very responsive to feedback from employers and institutes of higher education regarding what they expect of high school graduates.
As you know, the MCAS has been in place for more than a decade now, and the Parcc is the next generation of assessment, one that requires students to do more performance-based application of what they learned than the current MCAS does. Students should be able to write in each grade, read text, do research, and demonstrate their ability to make sense out of what they've read and digest and report the information.
Well, Matthew, back to you.
We're back as McCarthy has decided to play. But first, let's meet Betsy. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, so you have any kids that are within the McCarthy schools?
I do. I have one daughter, Anna, who's in the 6th grade.
And who are her teachers?
Mrs. Moriarty and Mr. Marr.
Oh, excellent teachers.
We love them.
Great. So, back to this question. What's the first thing that you think of when you hear the Parcc assessment?
It's more difficult.
Yeah.
It's more difficult.
Yeah, more difficult.
All right.
Yeah.
Show me more difficult.
Come on.
Oh, that's not on there. It's not actually more difficult, but that's only 1 strike. Thank you, Betsy.
Okay.
Moira, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much.
So I understand in addition to being a McCarthy parent, you're also the PTO president.
I am.
How's that been going?
It's going great. We are doing a lot of new programs, and McCarthy is top-notch.
Absolutely it is. And you also have a 5th grader within this school, is that correct?
I do. My son, Brendan.
And who are his teachers?
He has Mrs. Chase and Mrs. McPhee.
Oh, excellent. Very nice. Okay, so back to this. What's the first thing that you think of when you hear the Parcc assessment?
Common Core State Standards.
Yeah.
Common Core State Standards.
Yeah.
Let's take a look. Survey says Common Core State Standards is correct. Nice job. Let's find out from Linda and Anne-Marie how the Common Core State Standards relate to the Parcc assessment.
Parents really know their Parcc.
They do.
That's amazing. The Common Core State Standards provide a consistent, clear understanding of what students are expected to learn so teachers and parents know what they need to do to help them. The standards are designed to be robust and relevant to the real world, reflecting the knowledge and skills that our young people need for success in college and careers.
With American students fully prepared for the future, our communities like Chelmsford will be best positioned to compete successfully in a global economy. Back to you, Matthew.
McCarthy parents have already got the top 2 answers on the board and only have 1 strike. Let's continue as we meet Joanne. Hi, Joanne. Welcome to the show.
I'm excited to be here.
Oh, thank you. You have 3 of your kids that went through the McCarthy schools. Is that correct?
I did, all 4 years.
And now they're at the high school and college, right?
Yes.
Oh, that's great. So now, can you tell me, what's the first thing you think of when you hear the Parcc assessment?
Includes all subjects.
Good answer.
Let's find out if the Parcc does include all subjects. Survey says no. That's 2 strikes for McCarthy. South Row, get ready. You might have a chance to steal in a minute. All right, let's go back and let's meet Kathy. Kathy, how you doing?
Good.
You already got 1 correct answer. Before we give you a chance for another one, let's hear about your family within the McCarthy schools.
I have a daughter in 5th grade.
And who are her teachers?
Mrs. Murray, Mrs. Cormier.
Oh, 2 excellent teachers.
Great teachers.
All right, let's see if you can come up with another correct answer. What's the first thing that you think of when you hear about the Parcc assessment?
Technology.
Oh, technology. Let's find out if technology is a part of the Parcc assessment. Show me technology. Yes! All right, Anne-Marie and Linda, let's find out about how technology is used in the Parcc assessment.
Technology is absolutely right. We've been working directly with Parcc to ensure that our infrastructure meets the Parcc requirements, as well as that our browsers and memory on our Macs and PCs are all up to date. We've had a recent overhaul of the town and school networks to accommodate the Parcc testing.
Anne-Marie, are students able to take the test on iPads?
Yes, right now the Parcc test is designed for iPads as well as Macs and PCs. Androids and Windows tablets, no. iPads, yes. Back to you, Matthew.
McCarthy parents have gotten 3 out of the 4 correct answers, but they have 2 strikes. South Row is preparing for the potential steal. But first, McCarthy has 1 more chance to go for the win. Betsy, what's the first thing you think of when you hear the Parcc assessment?
Only in Massachusetts.
Only in Massachusetts. Let's find out if the Parcc assessment is only in Massachusetts. Survey says no. All right, South Row has a chance to steal. Let's take a minute and meet South Row parents and find out what their guess is going to be. Leanne, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Tell us about your family.
I have a 4th grade daughter at South Row, and I also have a 6th grader.
Oh, excellent, great. What is it you think the missing answer is?
Occurs multiple times a year.
Occurs multiple times a year. Great. Carrie, how are you?
Great, thank you.
You had some kids that went to the South Row schools?
My 3 boys, yes.
Oh, great.
So far now 2 are at McCarthy.
Excellent. So can you tell me, please, what do you think the answer is, the first thing you think of when you hear the Parcc assessment?
I think it's include science.
Include science. Okay, great. And Linda, hi, welcome to the show.
Hello, Matthew.
Great. So can you tell me a little bit about your family? You got a few kids, huh?
I have 2 at South Row, 2nd grade, 4th grade, 1 entering kindergarten in the fall, and 1 up at McCarthy in 5th grade right now.
Great, nice family.
Yes.
So can you tell me what's the first thing you think of when you hear the Parcc assessment?
Race to the top.
Race to the top, okay. And we meet our captain, Georgia. How you doing?
Good, nice to meet you.
You too. Tell us about your family.
I have a 2nd grader at South Row. I also have a little one at home and 1 at McCarthy.
But you're here representing South Row today.
I'm here for South Row today.
Captain of the
yes.
South Row team. Excellent. So you've heard 3 possible options from your team. Figure out for me what you think your final answer is going to be.
What do you guys think? Okay. Okay, I am going to go with occurs multiple times a year.
Occurs multiple times a year. All right. For the steal and the win, show me occurs multiple times a year. Yes! South Row has stolen and gotten the win. Linda and Anne-Marie, let's find out 1 more time how the Parcc assessment occurs multiple times a year.
Congratulations, you won the game. That was great, Matthew. To address the priority purposes, Parcc will develop an assessment system comprised of multiple components. Each component will be computer delivered and will use technology to incorporate innovations.
There'll be 2 summative required assessment components designed to make college and career readiness and on-track determinations that also measure the full range of standards and full performance continuum and provide data for accountability usages, including the measures of growth. There's also 2 non-summative optional assessment components designed to generate timely information for informing instruction interventions, and professional development during the school year. In English Language Arts, an additional non-summative component will assess students' speaking and listening skills. This component is very important for the students. Now, we're going to be moving over to the studio to talk to Dr. Matthew Beyranevand and Dr. Kristan Rodriguez to find out how we in Chelmsford are preparing for the Parcc field test.
We just learned about the Parcc assessment on a national level. It's time to learn about what Chelmsford is doing to prepare for the Parcc assessment. We are now joined by Dr. Kristan Rodriguez, the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction. Welcome to the show, Dr. Rodriguez.
Thank you for having me.
So can you begin by telling us what Chelmsford is doing to prepare for the Parcc assessment?
As you know, the Parcc assesses our students on the Common Core state standards. Since 2011, we have been working diligently to align our curriculum to these new standards. So we have new textbooks and materials that teach our students these new standards. In addition, for the past 3 years, we have had a focus in our professional development for our staff around the Common Core standards. So our staff feel comfortable teaching these standards, as well as the new resources and materials that they are using. We feel that our students, with the appropriate resources and strong teachers in front of them, will be very successful on the Parcc. Lastly, the Parcc is an online assessment. Thanks to the generosity of the town of Chelmsford, we have the appropriate infrastructure in order to take an online assessment. Since last spring, some of our benchmark assessments in the district have been online to prepare our students to take this kind of a test.
There's been a lot of talk about a Parcc field test occurring this year. Can you tell us some information about that, please?
Sure. Massachusetts is participating in a Parcc field test this spring, and Chelmsford has been selected as one of the towns that will participate. The Parcc field test will be an online assessment as well as a paper and pencil test so that the state can look at the different formats of testing as well as compare the test items on the MCAS with that of the Parcc.
And what schools and grade levels are going to be participating in this field test?
We will have approximately 15 classrooms across the district in grades 3 through 9 participating. All schools have been selected by the state with the exception of the center school. In addition, the test in Chelmsford will primarily focus on English language arts and will be online assessments primarily.
When is the field Parcc test going to be occurring?
The Parcc field test will occur at 2 different times in the year. The performance-based assessment will occur around late March, and the end-of-year assessment will occur between May and June.
And how will parents know if their child is going to be participating in this field test?
As soon as we know who the students are that will be selected to participate in the Parcc field test, we will notify the students and their families.
And when will the official Parcc assessment begin?
The Board of Education in Massachusetts has decided that they will not vote to officially adopt the Parcc until the fall of 2015. They want to do that so they can have a few years of a field test and of a pilot of the Parcc to ensure that it is as good or better than the MCAS, which is our existing assessment. The district has decided that they will participate in the Parcc during the pilot year next year, which is the 14-15 school year, and we feel that we are fully prepared with the appropriate technology and curriculum to do so.
Speaking of that MCAS exam, how is the Parcc different from the MCAS exam?
There are 2 main distinctions. One, the Common Core state standards are national standards. So the Parcc assessment, unlike the MCAS, is an assessment that will be given to numerous states, including Massachusetts. In addition, the Parcc is online. Currently, the MCAS is all paper and pencil. So because the Parcc is online, there will be some interactive features that are unique to the Parcc, distinct from the MCAS, such as a drag and drop option.
And how are we preparing our students to take this type of assessment?
In Massachusetts, we have not had as much exposure to these other online features in our testing, so we are one of the first districts across the state to participate in the Study Island pilot of Parcc-style questions. There are a few ways that we are doing this in the district. In mathematics, for example, our students are beginning to implement Parcc-style questions into their existing Study Island program. We began this in December. And in English, for example, at the middle school level, we are incorporating Parcc-style questions with the Study Island program in our spring benchmark assessments.
That's excellent. Thank you so much for sharing this perspective of Chelmsford and what we are doing to prepare for this Parcc assessment. And we'll be right back after this short promotional video. As we prepare to conclude this episode of Eye on Parcc, let's take a moment to learn about some of the other great educational shows on Chelmsford Telemedia. The first is Inside CPS. This is the flagship show that is hosted by Chelmsford Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Frank Tiano, and Executive Director of Technology and Information, Anne-Marie Fiore. Inside CPS gives you an inside look at the Chelmsford Public Schools. Every month features staff, students, and more. It's a must-see TV for everyone at CPS. Take a look at the clip from the show.
So, Mr. Cleary, let's bring you into the forefront here.
Thanks.
You just completed your first year as principal at Chelmsford High School. Simple question, how'd it go?
It was I can't believe it's only 1 year, honestly. It was a lot of fun, actually, and it was really hard, but it was great to come back. I said this during the whole interview process and everything else, that Chelmsford has a special place in my heart, and it always will. So coming back to the place where you kind of grew up, a school that you went to, and actually be in a school where teachers that taught you still were there, was really amazing.
There are also a few shows that are content specific. The first is Literacy with Linda. Literacy with Linda highlights the English language arts programs, technology, curriculum, and teachers in order for the community to become better familiar with all aspects of the department. Hosted by Dr. Linda Hirsch, the ELA Department Coordinator, viewers see 3 episodes annually on all things high school, middle school, and elementary school. Let's see what her show is all about.
Let's take a quick break to check your grammar skills with Mr. Van Blockholm.
Good evening, and welcome to Verbal Vignettes with VB. I'm Mr. VV. It's a pleasure to be here. Today we are going to speak about 2 of the more common errors in the English language: pronoun agreement and the word or words a lot. To begin, the first example: everyone should have their ID badges displayed. Sounds correct? Unfortunately, it is not.
Another content show is my show, Math with Matthew. You can learn about the mathematics classes, curriculum, and teachers through this Inside CPS production. I am the K-12 Mathematics Department Coordinator and tape 3 shows annually on all things math at the elementary, middle, and high school level. Let's watch a clip from my show. These are some math-related excuses that you can use for not turning in your homework. The first is that you accidentally divided by 0 and your paper immediately shredded.
2 plus 2 equals 7 divided by 0. Oh wait, I can divide by 0.
Next is that you had too much pie and you got sick.
And the area of the circle is pi r squared. Boy, am I hungry.
The last content-specific show is Spotlight on Fine Arts, featuring Christy Whittlesley, the Fine and Performing Arts Department Coordinator. She hosts this show monthly that features students and teachers from the school system's music, art, and theater program. It's a fun way to keep up with all the cultural currents in the Chelmsford Public Schools. Tune in to see some wonderful work. Let's watch a segment of Christy's show.
I know students can have a home subscription to Smart Music. They also have the option of using the school subscription. And you had mentioned that you have a home subscription. And what kinds of things have you been doing on Smart Music?
Well, I have Smart Music on the computer, and I like to use the Red Book and, as Mr. Lindsay said, to change the tempo and do different.
Our last show is Lions Pride. Len Doolin and the Chelmsford Rotary Club sponsor this monthly show honoring Chelmsford High School Students of the Month. Tune in and learn about these bright young students, their achievements, and goals for the future. This show is co-hosted by Chelmsford High School Principal Charlie Caleri and Chelmsford Public Schools Superintendent Dr. Frank Tiano. Let's take a look at one of these episodes.
Eleanor, you have had terrific success as a gymnast.
Yeah.
You started early in life, and you've done very well.
I've been doing it for almost 14 years now, and I've gone to gymnastics like 5 days a week for about 20 hours a week.
Well, that's a wrap. Thanks for watching our new show, Eye on Parcc.
Join us again in the spring for the next episode. We'll be featuring another game show, this time with students from the Chelmsford Public Schools.
Eye on Parcc can be seen at 10:30 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 4:30 p.m. right here on Channel 22 Comcast, 36 Verizon. For more information on Parcc, you can follow us on Twitter with the hashtag Eye on Parcc. Thanks for watching.